So, yesterday or last night, we were discussing educational technology. So, the main focus of this is integration of technology, integration of educational technology into the teaching and learning process. So, let's have a recap on the different kinds of instructional materials or audiovisual aids. We have, aside from the different theories, the different principles of educational technology or the design, implementation, integration, and management of educational technology. Okay, so we have printed materials, which include textbook, supplemental materials. We have audio aids, graphic materials, visual aids. We have chalkboard, still pictures. Exhibits are also considered as instructional aids, like yung mga school-made displays, bulletin boards, museums, okay? Learning resource centers sa mga schools kung saan nakatago, saan nakadisplay yung mga instructional materials na gagamitin ng mga teachers na pwedeng anytime, kung kailangan ng teacher, pwede niyang hiramin. So, sometimes nasa library, kasi in the library, there are vast of instructional materials din doon na pwedeng gamitin. Funnel board, felt board, we have objects, mga specimens sa laboratories, realias, models, okay? And we also considered audiovisual aids, like motion pictures, mga films, okay, television, videotapes, demonstrations, community resources, like field trips, resource persons, okay? Laboratories, science, biology, chemistry laboratory, language laboratory, natin speech laboratory, computer laboratories, okay, and program instructions. So all these things are the instructional materials or audiovisual aids that assist the teacher to have an efficient and effective teaching and learning process. Okay? And many others, especially yung mga innovative, mga updated na mga materials like mga smart boards dito sa UAE, ano pa, mga tablets. Ngayon, dito sa abroad, mga electronic book na, 'di ba? E-books na, yung libro nila naka-PDF file, binabrowse na lang nila sa tablet nila, sa mga laptops nila. So wala na silang karga-karga na pagkarami-raming books, pagkabigat-bigat na books. Okay? And so with yung mga learning applications sa tablet, sa mobile phones, 'di ba? Ang dami-dami ng learning applications na ginagamit ng mga bata ngayon. Kasi they need to be updated. So sa atin, mga teachers, kailangan din nating mag-upgrade. Kailangan nating mag-browse din pag may time para at least maano din tayo, maka-in tayo sa generation ng mga learners natin ngayon. Diba? Ang dami nila kasing alam na mga learning applications na pwedeng gamitin sa classroom. Kagaya ng mga tawag doon, yung may mga apps na mga arcade games style siya, yung mga parang treasure hunting style na you cannot proceed to the next kung hindi mo pa nasusolve yung una, mga ganon. Hanggang sa end, meron na silang badge na winner sila, may score. Those are learning applications. Especially kung related siya or pwedeng gamitin sa classroom. Kagaya ng mga simple na I know, naglalaro din kayo siguro, yung mga simple na yung vocabulary, yung magkikreate ka ng word out of the jumbled letters. Pwedeng gamitin lahat yun. Learning applications. Okay? Yung mga apps, yan. What else? Yung mga addition sa mathematics, yung mga different kinds of plants, identifying mo. Diba? Napaka-accessible na ngayon ang educational technology. Accessible ang materials. Diba? Yung maliit na bata nga, nanonood lang siya ng araw-araw, manonood lang siya ng nursery rhymes, diba? Tapos pag nagsalita na, English na siya. Englishera na. Tapos, alam na rin niyang, kasi pinapanood lang niya ginagaya lang niya yung nasa TV. Yung mga nursery rhymes na yan. Kasi nga naman, syempre, araw-araw ba naman na yun ang pinapanood ng bata? Diba? Yung mga bata na pinaparak dito sa abroad, ganun, diba? Kahit kasama nila ang kanilang yung maid nila or yung assistant nila, nakasama ng bata araw-araw. Yan, yung mga pinapanood lang sila ng mga nursery rhymes, mga cartoons, natututo. Kaya pag nagsalita yung bata, English. British accent pa, di ba? So, saan ka pa? So, ang dami kasing mga materials na pwedeng gamitin sa learning, sa teaching and learning process. Okay? So, let's continue. Integration of conventional educational technologies. So, conventional, yung mga hindi pa modern, yung mga late, pa siya. So, like, for example, naka-indicate dito yung mga advantages, limitations, and how to utilize, how to use, like, mga textbook, or printed materials, like books. Kasi, every material, may mga advantages naman and limitations. So, sample natin. Sa mga books or printed materials, they are readily available. Kasi printed materials are readily available in a range of topics and formats. However, ano ang limitation? Reading levels of learners. Siyempre, kung di marunong bumasa yung learner, useless ang libro. Di ba? Hindi niya iba-browse kasi hindi naman siya marunong. So, many students are non-readers or proofreaders. Yun yung mga limitations. What else? There is a tendency na memorization will take place. Kasi nga, sabi nung iba, textbooks promote memorization rather than higher level thinking skills. Okay? Passive. Nagiging passive ang mga learners kasi others contend that textbooks promote solitary learning rather than cooperative group processes. Kasi nga, nagbe-base na lang yung mga bata doon sa content, sa laman ng libro. Wala na silang brainstorming applications minsan. Kung hindi naman creative si teacher sa pagtuturo o paggamit ng books. Okay? So, these are conventional technologies. Marami pa dito. Basahin nyo na lang. Like yung mga still visuals, mga pictures. Some visuals are simply too small or too large to use. Some are expensive. Yan naman yung mga disadvantage. Ang advantage, realistic. Okay? And then mga display, projected, yung sa paggamit ng projector. Siyempre dito, sa paggamit ng mga projection materials, nasa teacher yan. Kung hindi naman masyadong techy si teacher, hindi niya magagamit ng maayos yung instructional material. Kaya dito, instructor control. Nasa control yan ni teacher. Tapos, instructor dependent. Kung wala si teacher, hindi naman magagamit. Okay? Cannot be programmed to display information by itself. Yun yung limitation niya. And then, you need to prepare. So, it requires preparation. Hindi kagaya ng mga printed materials na dalhin mo na lang sa classroom, eto yung picture ng ganito, ganyan. Sa mga projected visuals, you need to prepare. Like dito, sa PowerPoint. Okay? real objects, audio technologies. Okay? So, basa-basahin nyo na lang mga ito. Now, how about ICT into the teaching and learning? Yung use of multimedia kasi ito naman yung modern, diba? So, multimedia, anything about technology. So, it helps the teacher and the students or the teaching learning process to have better learning and retention. Okay? Siyempre, mas magiging interesting, mas magiging interested ang mga bata to listen kung gagamit ka ng mga multimedia materials. Kasi, yun yung age nila. So, what else? Effectiveness across learning domains, interactive, motivation, consistency, high speed, lahat yan. But there are certain limitations like equipment requirement. Siyempre, kayo din na teacher, kailangan nyo ring mag-upgrade. Kaya ng let's say, pag online class, nagkaroon ng issue, halimbawa sa school, let's say, bumagyo, so nag-resort kayo into online. So, kailangan mo ring maraman ang mga learning management systems. Ang paggamit ng Zoom, halimbawa, paano na lang kung hindi ka marunong gumamit ng Zoom? Tapos lulukohin ka ng mga estudyante, yung mawala-wala sila dito sa class, sa Zoom, di ba? Yun. Okay? Ang dami kasing multimedia ngayon eh. Like yung smartboard na sinasabi ko, kailangan, kung gagamit ka ng smartboard, i-practice mo muna by yourself bago mo gamitin the next day. Hindi yung magmagaling ka na tapos pagdating ng paggamit ng smartboard, hindi mo pala alam yung mga pinipindot mo doon, nasira na yung klase mo, yung lesson mo. Okay? Lahat. Even yung mga paggamit ng mga equipment sa laboratory, kailangan mo ring practice muna. Mag-trial ka. Like if you are teaching, halimbawa, science, sa chemistry, magpa-experiment ka, especially gagamit ka ng mga chemicals. So, kailangan mag-pre-lab ka by yourself. Kasi unless you are an expert teacher na, di ba? Kasi minsan baka mamaya mapaghalo mo yung ganitong chemicals, biglang umusok doon, ikaw na ang unang tumakbo. Di ba? Kasi hindi mo na-expect na ganun pala ang mangyayari sa experiment. Di ba? Mga ganon. So, kailangan thorough preparation din lahat. Especially in the use of any resources, any materials na gagamitin. Mag-rehearsal, diba? Mag-dry run. Especially kung schedule kang i-observe ng principal, ayan. Diba? May mga ganun may mga sa schools, there are some schools na dalawa ang observation, isa yung announce, isa unannounce. So, dapat everyday kang ready. Syempre, may access si principal or academic supervisor sa lesson plan mo. So, pag nakita niyang, interesting ang topic nito, tingnan ko nga kung paano niya ituturo. Ang ganda ng topic nito, tingnan ko nga kung paano niya ituturo ito sa estudyante. Or, ang saya-saya ng klase na yun, tingnan ko nga bakit. Di ba? Ang gulo-gulo ng klase, ang iingay na yan. I-observe ko nga paano nagtuturo si teacher, bakit maingay. Yun yung mga unannounced. Yung mga announced naman, siyempre, bibigyan ka ng schedule. This time, ma-observe ka ngayon. I mean, sa schedule na to, uupo ako sa klase mo maghapon. Yun. So, siyempre, you need to prepare. Kasi, i-grade ka, bibigyan ka ng rating mo. At the end of the year, i-total lahat yan. Hindi lang naman doon manggagaling actually. We will learn this in field study. Okay? Like, or in assessment of teachers or evaluation. May manggagaling sa iyo, yung demonstration lesson mo, classroom management, how do you manage the classroom, and then meron ding evaluation from your students. Ipapa-evaluate ka din sa mga estudyante mo. O let's say for example, pupunta si principal sa classroom kung saan ka nagtuturo. Tatanungin niya, o kumusta naman si teacher nyo dito? Meron ako ditong ano ha, i-check nyo itong survey. Be honest kung paano nyo, ganyan. Gaano ba kagaling si teacher? Meron ba siyang sense of humor? Lahat naman ng domains. Okay? Meron ding manggagaling certain percentage from your peers, from your co-teachers. Peer evaluation naman yon. And then self-evaluation. Okay? Categories of computer-aided instruction, their uses and features. Drill and practice, tutorial, simulations. Simulation, ito yung gagayahin yung situation. Okay? Represent or model a real system, situation, or phenomenon. And then, mga games. Ngayon, very applicable ang gamification. Masayang yung magturo, yung bang maigiging interesado ang mga bata kung nagpapa-games ka. But make sure na yung mga game na ginagamit mo ay related sa lesson mo. Huwag ka naman yung magpapalaro na lang basta-basta, di ba? Halimbawa, kung sa social studies ka, hindi magpapa-game ka, kunwari contest about capital ng mga countries. Eto, kayo ha, Team A, Team B. Mga ganon. Or kung science ka naman, magpa-treasure hunting ka. Na for every station, meron silang kailangang isolve bago makaproceed sa next. Hanggang mahanap nila yung treasure. Di ba? Na-experience naman yan when you when you were in the high school. Sa college, wala namang masyadong games na sa high school, sa basic education. Okay? Problem solving, and many others. Okay? So, since nasa computer age tayo, balikan lang natin yung mga roles of computer as a tool in the classroom. Okay? Informative tool, like yung mga applications which provide vast amounts of information in various formats. Text, sound, graphics, or video, multimedia, encyclopedias. Ayan. Informative. What else? The computer as a communicative tool. So, ito naman yung mga systems which enable communication between the teacher and the students. Dati, nung wala pang computer, ano lang tayo? Ina-announce natin sa mga bata, o sabihin nyo sa mga magulang nyo ha, may meeting sa Sabado, ganito. Or susulat sa notebook. Ngayon, hindi na. I-email mo na lang, may electronic bulletin boards, may WhatsApp, may chat, teleconferencing, and electronic whiteboards. Meron ng Zoom na pwede nang mag-meeting online that you can check also the attendance of your parents and students. So, communicative tools. Productivity or constructive tools. Okay? Ito naman yung mga manipulation of information. Like, ito common example, sabi naman niya is, wala naman. Okay? Yung mga productivity, yung natin, yung pagki-construct, pagki-create natin ng mga ideas, kagaya ito sa PowerPoint. Okay? We need to construct one's own knowledge or visualizing one's understanding. And then situating tools. Situate users in an environment where they may experience the context and happenings. Like yung mga virtual realities. Okay? Diba, ngayon, pag pwede na silang may nakikita akong nilalaro ng mga maliliit na bata yung alam niyo yung parang Roblox na meron silang binabaril na pumapasok sila sa mga kuweba, hinahanap nila yung babarilin. That's an example of virtual reality. Na meaning, pwede mo nang, let's say for example, pwede mo nang puntahan yung, let's say, yung Pyramid of Egypt. Meron namang video sa loob, kunwari, na papasok, yung bang parang nag-field trip ka na. Okay? Yung VR, yung bang nilalagay, yung tiyatakpan yung mata mo para makita mo yung, kumbaga, you are putting yourself in that reality. That's virtual reality. Mga simulations, yung mga virtual tours. Pwede mo nang i-tour yung parang nasa Amerika ka, 'di ba? Na follow mo lang yung way ganito. 'Di ba napaka-high-tech na ngayon? So, it places the user in a simulated flying environment. 'Di ba meron naman sa science yung parang nasa space ka. Pupunta ka lang sa planetarium, and then so yung mga bata, they are having the experience na nasa space na din sila, na parang malapit na sila sa mga planets, sa mga stars. Okay? Those are examples ng simulations, virtual realities, as nagamit ng computer as situating tools. Okay? Napaka-high-tech na. Kahit di ka na nga pumunta sa mga sa mga lugar na magaganda, meron ka naman ng virtual realities, meron ng YouTube, pa. Pag sinabi mong ano kayang itsura ng sinasabi nilang bakit kaya maganda dito sa place na yan? O mag-YouTube ka, tignan mo yung mga videos ng mga pumunta doon. So you are putting yourself in that situation na okay, ganun pala yun. So mas madali na rin magturo pag may mga ganung bagay. Okay? Especially sa social studies, sa inyo, marami social studies. Meron pa kayong mga virtual realities na meron kang tour sa tawag doon, sa US, yung Pentagon, 'di ba? Ano ang laman doon, yung mga malaking libraries, yung mga different spots, yung mga magagandang places, locations, di ba? Those are virtual realities. Even yung mga schools ngayon, meron silang virtual tour. Kung gustong makita ko yung anong itsura ng school, meron ka lang i-click doon. Meron ka lang na arrow. Okay? Pupunta ka sa library, ito palang itsura ng library. And then lakad-lakad, punta ka ng academic building, punta ka ng registrar's office, di ba? Madali na ngayon. Okay? So those are the roles of computer as a tool. Okay? Ito yung mga kasama din to sa terminologies. Okay? Now, subject area reasons for using technology. Like in writing across the curriculum, we can have word processing software that makes writing a significantly more enjoyable process for students. Students will do more writing and version when they have access to word processing software. Imagine mo nung wala pang computer, wala pang MS Word. Di ba? Ngayon, ang dali na. Sige, type lang. Pwede ka nang magsulat sa Microsoft Word, sa Google Documents. Especially ngayon, may AI. Hindi na ikaw magsusulat, bibigyan ka na ni AI ng sagot. Kung sabihin mo doon, construct a 100-word essay about the Philippine economic system. O pag in-enter mo siya, bibigyan ka na niya ng 100-word na sagot. Okay? Sa history, social studies, and current events, paano naman ina-apply ang technology? Ayan, instructions can be tremendously enriched by students having immediate access to vast wealth of information available on the internet, including news, primary sources, databases. Pag merong ng latest news, halimbawa, nagkaroon ng giyera dito sa isang bansa, mapapanood mo na kaagad. May live pa nga, di ba, na pinapanood sa YouTube, sa Facebook. Yung, let's say, nung war sa ano ba yun? Sa Israel, sa Gaza. Diba, may live pa. Pinapanood ko din. Kasi gusto mong maging updated. And para may ma-share ka din. Tapos, balikan mo yung story. May mga information sa YouTube. Ano ba yung pinag-ugatan, ano yung pinagsimulan ng war? Para ma-share mo din sa mga estudyante. Kasi definitely, ang mga estudyante mo, magtatanong yan. Like, Sir, bakit nga ba nag-aaway yung dalawang bansang ito? O pag tinanong ka nun, alam mo ba isasagot mo? Hindi mo naman pwedeng sabihin na, ewan ko ba sa kanila? Bahala sila dyan. Hindi naman tayo affected dyan. Hindi pwedeng ganun ang isagot mo. Kasi, pag ganung global issues, affected lahat. So, especially sa'yo, sa social studies, sa inyo, you need to check the economic impact, diba? Political impact, lahat yan. Discuss nyo yan. Okay? So, nakakatulong ang technology. Ang daming resources online. But of course, as teachers, you need to filter kung saan doon yung tama. Huwag kayong gumamit ng Wikipedia. Never use Wikipedia as your resource. Bakit? Kasi ang Wikipedia na-edit yun. Baka mamaya pinapalitan nila yung mga information doon, ginagamit mo naman, no? Ang daming sites na pwedeng pagkuha ng information other than Wikipedia. Huwag kayong kukuha doon. Kasi hindi siya accurate. Kailangan authentic. Especially sa atin na teachers. Baka mamaya, kuha ka ng kuha doon, turo ka naman ng turo. Mali pala yung mga information doon. So, mali na yung naituro mo. Okay? Doon kayo sa National Geographic. Ayan. What else? Yung World Forum. Mga ganon. Yung mga UNICEF. Doon kayo kumuha ng mga information. World Bank. Mga statistics. Okay? Current events. Tingnan nyo rin yung minsan may mga videos na old na pala yun. Tapos kinukuha nyo na clip na pinipresent sa klase. Di ba? So, maging mapagmatsyag din si teacher dapat. Hindi yung kuha ng information. Tapos, sinishare sa classroom. Yung pala mali. Di ba? So, yan. Ang gandang magturo sa social studies, especially pag current events. Kasi we have vast wealth of information available na hindi kagaya nung time namin, na hinihintay pa namin na mayroong newspaper sa Sunday para doon kami kumuha ng mga latest news na i-report sa klase. Okay? Kasi nga, ang main source lang natin noon ng mga current events ay sa mga newspapers. Okay? Nung high school kami, ngayon, isang pindot lang meron na. Okay? Sa online. Mga databases, mga information, statistics, punong-puno ang online information, internet. Okay? Now, sa mathematics naman, you can make your class richer and engaging by helping students explore math with the aid of softwares. Like itong Microsoft Excel. Di ba? Yung spreadsheet. Ang dami-dami ng, let's say, what else? Yung sa Excel kasi, pwede ka na rin mag-create doon ng mga graph. Okay? Different kinds of chart. Okay? Analysis. Ang daming software na kailangan na pwedeng gamitin. Mga digital workshop that the computers can provide. We are discussing this kasi we are in the age of Internet of Things. Yung automation. So, hindi naman tayo pabalik eh. Ano na yan, pataas ng pataas yan ng level. So, kailangan natin ding humabol. Especially so that we are teachers, we are engaged, we are dealing with students every day. So, we need to guide our students in using technology. Okay? Foreign language. Madali na lang din matuto ng foreign language. Kasi ang dami-dami ng software. Meron ng Google Translate, ano pa, yung language. Daming applications, di ba? Language translator. Meron nga minsan yung mga nagtutour. Pag hindi nila maintindihan yung kausap na, let's say, for example, sa Arabic, meron silang yung sa cellphone, yung speech to text, pag nagsalita siya, may record lang tapos kino-convert into English para maintindihan mo kung yung palang sinabi niya. Okay? So, instruction success correlates highly with the time students are able to spend in immersive environments. Yung mga software, right software, set of headphones, laptop, can function just like a language laboratory working station. Okay? Marami na nga natututo kahit sa ano na lang eh. Sa TikTok, di ba? May mga TikTok nagtuturo-turo na yan ng mga Japanese, Chinese, lahat ng language. Yung pa konti-konti, kahit yung kina-compare nila yung mga, let's say, greetings. Yung how are you in Chinese, how are you in Japanese. High-tech na. Okay? In terms of arts, music, and drama, ayan, marami ding softwares. Especially artworks, sa music, sa scripts, and digital videos. Diba? Dati, pag nagturo ka ng sayaw, ikaw na teacher muna ang sasayaw, tuturo mo step by step. Diba? Pag folk dance, ganito, ganyan. Ngayon, pwede nang, eto gayahin nyo to, nasa YouTube. Have you tried yung mga nasa YouTube, yung mga kahit lahat ng sayaw, may mga step by step na sumasayaw na parang cartoons. Pero makukuha mo na yung step after that, gagayahin mo lang. Di ba? Madali na lang magturo using those online resources. Pwede rin, students can visit virtual museums, listen to or watch great performances, and have their own music practice, supported and analyzed. Ang dami na nga halos sa YouTube, sa TikTok, kompleto. Sa Reels, may mga nagtuturo na rin doon ng guitar, paano piano, meron na rin vocalization. So, yung trabaho ni teacher nandun na rin. So, ang gawin mo na lang is to guide and facilitate the learning to our students. Kasi kung if you not make use of that, babalik ka pa sa traditional, tingnan mo naman yung klase ng estudyante mo. Baka naman mabuboard na sila kung mga old-fashioned pa yung gagamitin mo, di ba? Baka sabihin nila na, okay na teacher, practicing ko na lang yan sa bahay mamayang gabi, panoorin ko na lang yung YouTube. Hindi ikaw pang napahiya pag gano'n. Kasi ayaw niyang makinig sa'yo. Ayaw niyang panoorin ka para gayahin yung sayaw. Diba? So, marami. Remote teaching and learning. Ito, siningit ko lang ito. We have the different types of remote teaching. Especially nagamit natin to during the pandemic. Siyempre, ang pandemic naman is hindi naman siya kasi na-anticipate biglaan. So, we have the first face-to-face. Ito yung conventional na ginagamit natin or traditional way of teaching, face-to-face. You are face-to-face with the students or the learners. And then, blended learning. Blended means may combination. You blend, di ba? So it's a combination of traditional classroom and online learning. Di ba during the pandemic, ganun? Let's say isang araw o dalawang araw face-to-face, and then the 3 days are for online learning. Yung gagamit kayo ng Zoom. Pero sa Philippines, nakakaawa yung mga bata noon kasi they cannot proceed with online learning. Bakit? Kasi wala namang mahina naman ang internet or walang internet facility ang school. So anong ginawa nila? Nag-module. Okay? So distance education can be described as a method of education that is received by a learner at another geographical location. Distance. Halimbawa, ito, si Sir Giovanni nasa Thailand. So, nagkaklase siya. Even yung mga classmates niya ay nasa UAE, nasa Philippines. So, that's distance education. Okay? So, there are two types of distance, synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous, ito, yung live na nagkaklase tayo. Ang asynchronous, yung mga activities na binibigay ko din that you will do online. Like, has a set of deadlines, often weekly time limit. It allows the learner to learn at their own pace. So, pag sinabing asynchronous, ito, and then pag binigyan kayo ng activity na gagawin, yun naman yung tawag doon, asynchronous distance learning. Okay? Fourth, yung modular distance learning. Ito yung sinasabi ko na ginamit natin sa Philippines during the pandemic. Pero dito sa UAE, nag-pure online tayo. Kasi nga, malakas naman ang internet, di ba? So, naka-Zoom lahat ng bata. Ano pa? Aside from Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, yan. So, yung modular, may mga, the students use self-learning modules. Binibigyan sila ng modules na pag-aralan, sagutin, okay? And then, kukolek ng teacher, i-check. So, pag ganun, ang kasama ng bata na mag-aaral is the parents, the siblings, the family. Diba? Nung pandemic, ganun tayo. Okay? May mga study guides. Yung may mga access sa YouTube, dati, meron tayong YouTube ng DepEd na yung mga teachers nagtuturo, nire-record nila, and then pinupost sa YouTube para mapanood ng mga bata yung lesson. Okay? Yun, by lesson yun. Sa DepEd naman. Pwede rin yung ganun. Yung i-record mo or pwede mo rin bigyan yung mga bata ng digital, yung USB o ito yung lesson natin ha, panoorin nyo dito, ganyan. Especially pag pandemic. Pag may mga issues about face-to-face classes. Like, di ba dito sa UAE, nung bumagyo, hindi naman bagyo, umulan lang konti. Nung bumaha, rather. Di ba? Nung bumaha, pagbaha kasi dito, hindi makakausad yung mga sasakyan, so hindi makakapasok mga bata. Pag ganon, nag-o-online ka agad. Nagsuzoom. So, yun yung alternative. Yun yung option para hindi masayang yung time. Mag-aaral sila. Si teacher, nasa bahay, magtuturo siya. Okay? TV, radio-based instruction. Yung learning material mo will be presented in the form of video lessons for TV or radio scripts for radio. Yung i-ano nila sa TV para mapanood nila yung lesson. Yun nga, parang sa modular din na sabihin nila, you go to this YouTube channel, nandun yung klase natin. Or minsan yung mga teachers, dina-download nila yung mga lessons sa YouTube channel, sa isang YouTube channel, and then ibinibigay sa mga bata. O eto yung topic ha, tinuro na ni teacher na ganito, panoorin nyo na lang. So parang nag-aaral ka din sa classroom, pero pinapanood mo nga lang siya. Okay? And then homeschooling. Ang homeschooling naman, siyempre, from the word home, school, It is facilitated at home by qualified and trained parents. Parents mo magtuturo sa'yo. Pwede rin guardians or tutors. Okay? Ito yung homeschooling na sinasabi. Dito sa UAE, marami ring homeschooling. Pero mas magandang sabihin siyang distance learning. Meaning, may mga bata dito na siyempre, kung dalawa silang magkakapatid, tatlo silang magkakapatid, hirap silang pumasok sa isang regular school dahil nga mataas ang tuition fee. I mean, magastos. Hindi pa kaya ng parents kung tatlo ang anak mo. Mahal magpa-aral dito. So, yung iba, nagdi-distance learning sila. Meaning, nag-aaral sila sa bahay through sa school sa Philippines. Naka-enroll sila sa Philippines. Like, may mga estudyante ako dito sa Sharjah na mga makakakilala lang din na nag-aaral sa Pilipinas para mas makamenos sila. Especially kung hindi naman masyadong malaki ang sahod ng parents. So, magdi-distance learning muna sila ng 2 taon habang nag-iipon ang magulang, and then pwede na silang lumipat sa regular school after. Okay? Like, araw-araw din sila nakaganito. Naka-ano din sila sa klase sa Philippines. May mga classes din sila. So, there are schools in the Philippines who are allowed, who are approved by DepEd to conduct distance learning. Okay? Para matulungan din yung mga Filipinos. Mas makamura sila kasi nga pag regular school, magbabayad ka pa ng bus, ng baon niya araw-araw, tapos ang mahal pa ang tuition fee, diba? Paano kung 2 o 3 anak mo dito? At average income earner lang naman ang parents. So, mga ganon. So, usually, they resort to distance learning, homeschooling, which is okay naman. Ipaintindi mo lang sa mga bata. Diba? Ganon. So, para naman, instead naman na nag-i-stop sila, naka-stay lang sa bahay, kasi nga walang, financially challenged ang parents, why not resort to distance learning? Okay? Marami tayong dito, overseas OFW children na nag-a-attend sa homeschooling para makaipon naman yung parents nila. Ganon. Minsan kasi, may mga restrictions din, mga factors, bakit hindi sila nakakapasok sa regular school. Like, for example, kulang sila ng documents or requirements. Dito kasi, ang mga Filipino students, nire-register din sila sa Ministry of Education. So, may mga requirements din, like Emirates IDs, visas, lahat. Okay, birth certificate. Paano yung anak mo kung visit visa siya lang dito or walang masyadong, kulang sa documents? So, hindi na siya makapag-aral. So, syempre, ang last resort nun is distance learning. Ginagawa ng paraan. Kagaya nung may mga kumukontak sa akin na, "Sir, tulungan mo naman kami, ganito, ganyan." O sige, kaysa naman nakatenga ang mga anak niyo sa bahay, walang ginagawa, why not attend distance learning? Register nyo sila sa Philippines, pumasok din sa Zoom everyday. Ayan, parang nag-aaral din. Okay? Kaysa may stop. Okay? So, aside from that, we also have the MOOC, yung Massive Open Online Courses. Since nasa online world na tayo. Diba? Like Coursera, kung nakikita nyo to sa Facebook, yung edX, Udacity. Ito yung mga legit na online, massive online, open online courses. Meaning, MOOC are asynchronous, open access, web-based courses geared toward enrolling hundreds or thousands of students at a time. And then, the delivery of content is via recorded video lectures, online readings, online assessments, yan. Diba? Ang dami ng universities sa abroad, international. who are, these universities are offering this one, MOOC na sinasabi. Nag-inquire nga ako one time sa, tawag doon, yung Harvard certificate. Kaya lang mahal. Bibigyan ka na ng 8 modules. Meron ding mga Zoom classes. Ano lang siya, certificate lang. These are legit. Kasi, doon sa mismong na siya, dinadaan lang nila dito sa edX, halimbawa, yung edX.org. Sila yung channel para sa mga iba't ibang universities. Yan. Okay? Kasi, darating ang araw, ganito na lahat. Accessible na, pwede ka nang mag-aral anywhere ng mga universities through massive open online courses. But of course, again and again, you need to check the veracity, check the authenticity of each website or Facebook page. Kung, syempre, minsan may mga din kasi scams, di ba? May mga fake pages. Okay? Pero usually naman dapat, you, challenge with video call. Diba? Para ma-prove mo kung legit siya or hindi. Okay? What else? Considerations and decisions to select the best delivery system. And of course, pagkagamit na ng mga educational technology, you need to evaluate the instructional resources. In evaluating instructional resources, pag nagamit mo sila, you need to ask several questions. So you need to ask yourself the following questions to evaluate. Like, for example, does the content of the material match the curriculum? Okay. Is the content accurate, up-to-date, or appropriate for the students? Do the materials teach or reinforce teaching or teaming effectively? Do these resources enhance instruction? Is the resource easy for the teacher and students to use? Okay. Are the materials of high quality technically? Is the use of this resource practical for my teaching setting, like cost, the needed equipment, etc.? So, these are the questions that you need to ask to evaluate yung napili mo, yung dinesign mong material, yung in-implement mong material, okay? Para makagawa ka rin ng action to that. Like, if you need to reject the material, if you need to retain, if you need to improve the material, or kailangan mo ba siyang tawag doon, gamitin ulit, or i-enhance mo pa yung material para mas maging effective. Since we are dealing with technology integration, diba, sabi natin, we need to integrate technology into our teaching and learning process. Okay, meaning we need to use the use of learning technologies to introduce, reinforce, to supplement and extend skills. Okay? So for example, if the teacher makes a student play computer games to give them let's say during the rest period, it's also integrating technology. Kasi nga, there's no integrative process for that. Okay? So, I repeat, there's no integrative process if, for example, the teacher makes, pag maglalaro lang sila during their, so kailangan with the supervision of the teacher. That's in technology integration. Ang focus mo talaga is the use of technology into your teaching process or into the teaching and learning process. Pero kung hahayaan mo lang yung mga bata to use technology, there's no integration. Okay? So, for example, there is a change in the way classes are traditionally conducted. So, syempre dati, wala naman tayong technology pa. I mean, hindi pa naman masyadong ina-avail ang technology, in-integrate ang technology sa classroom. So, makikita mo talaga yung it will make your teaching and learning process easier, more interesting, that the quality of instruction is improved. Okay? What else? There is planning by the teacher on the process. Kailangan mo rin naman paghandaan talaga ang mga gagamitin mo. Kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, if you will use if you will make use of the smart board, kailangan mo ding iplano yon and mag-rehearsal ka. Testing mo muna din. Okay? The use of technology provides the opening of opportunities to respond to these instructional issues, problems. Technology occupies a position in a simple or complex way in the instructional process. Sa dami naman ng technological materials, sa dami ng instructional materials na pwede nating gamitin, it will really help the teacher. It will really help the teacher to facilitate, to make the learning more effective, more efficient. Okay? And it will give a total learning experiences sa mga learners natin. Okay? So ano ba tong integration na sinasabi? Let's have the levels of integration. So simple integration, when there's no substantial change in the teaching learning process from previous method. Halimbawa, si teacher gusto niyang gumamit ng pictures kaya sa kanyang social studies class, halimbawa, picture ng isang isang yung magandang tanawin. But yung available na picture ay very small. So, hindi niya mapakita. So, syempre, ang gagawin niya, she will decide to use the computer. I-scan niya ang picture for the computer projection for the class para mapalaki yung picture na mai-project sa class. So, that's only a simple integration. Okay? Bakit simple lang? There will be a good class presentation followed by discussion. Pero ano lang siya, simple integration lang kasi yung computer nakatulong pero it does not play a pivotal role sa klase. So si technology lang doon is pina-enlarge lang yung picture, project lang niya doon sa board. Okay? Kaya simple integration. Yung middle level integration, there is a purposeful use of technology to support key learning areas. Okay? Paano naman ang middle level? For example, si teacher, gagamit siya ng computer-based, halimbawa mathematics, computer-based na trigonometry software na ipoproject niya sa klase. Okay? So, using the projector sa klase just to supplement his teacher-centered classroom. So, in that case, merong interactive class using the software. May interaction na. Kasi nandun na yun yung software ng trigonometry. Okay? Kita nyo? So, that is a middle level. Kasi nga, yung technology na yun, gagamitin. Yun ang gagamitin ninyo para interaction between the students and the software and then the teacher. Okay? What else? Another example ng middle level ay when, let's say for example, you will ask your students to make a research to find information on yung mga COVID. Yan, yung virus. Okay? So, the students are to create yung tawag doon, di ba? Pinapagawa natin mga bata ng mga infographics, yung mga leaflet. Okay? Infographics about the information, the tips, para maiwasan yung pagkalat ng virus, mga ganon. Di ba? So, yun, in that case, yung mga estudyante, ginamit nila yung creativity nila, yung creative skills. So, meron ng tawag doon, ginamit mo yung internet para kumuha ng information, to disseminate information, so that can be middle level integration. Okay? Kumbaga, may interaction, nagamit mo siya. And then, high level naman, if the technology is the central instructional tool. Kung yung technology ay yun talaga ang focus sa klase, that is high level of integration. So, halimbawa, itong ginagawa nating Zoom. So, kung wala itong Zoom, wala tayong klase. So, ginagamit ko itong Zoom. So, ito yung central tool para tayo ay mag-meet. Diba? So, parang, what else? Another example. Halimbawa, magtuturo ka ng social studies. So, you need to get information about, let's say, ASEAN regions. Okay? So, yung si teacher assigned a topic, okay? Or a newsletter to be produced through computer on each group of the class. Okay? Sasabihin niya, okay, gumawa kayo ng ganito, ng research about the following countries. Okay? Pag ganyan, it will increase the social skills, okay, of your students through group work. Okay? Planning, creating the newsletter. So, ma-apply nila ang computer skills. So, ang main tool na nila sa pag-aaral is the computer. Kasi nga, gagawa sila ng newsletter about different Asian countries. So, yun yung central tool that would make it a high-level integration. Okay? So, nakuha niyo yung pag-integrate ng technology, yung paggamit ng technology sa teaching and learning process. Okay? That is levels of integration. Okay? So, technology integration. Yun, yung dinefine natin kanina. Using the learning technologies to introduce, okay, to reinforce, supplement the teaching and learning process. Educational media are channels or avenues or instruments of communication like books, magazines, newspapers, radio, television, internet, and other hardware. Instructional technology refers to those aspects of educational technology that are concerned with instruction as constructed to designs and operations of educational institution. Okay, evolution of educational technology. Mas madali na ding magturo through technology when we explore the history and development of educational technology from traditional classroom tools to modern digital resources. Kagaya ng lagi kong ine-example. Kasi, syempre, nung time ko, wala pa tayong masyadong technology. So, nako-compare ko yung traditional classroom setting as compared to the classroom ngayon. Okay? So, example, when you discuss chalkboards dati, di ba? When you compare chalkboards to interactive whiteboard, ngayon yung whiteboard, tapos sa Pilipinas gumagamit pa rin sila ng chalk, di ba? Eh dito wala nang chalk, saka wala naman talagang chalk dito na ginagamit, lang siya, whiteboard marker. And now, from chalkboard to whiteboard marker to yung pen, yung parang smartboard pen to engage the students. Okay? So that's evolution of the educational technology. Diba? What else? Dati, gumagamit tayo ng projector, film strips, magtuturo tayo. Pero look at now, yung multimedia presentation in the digital age, di ba? Puro pindot-pindot na lang. Makita mo na doon yung mga films. Dati, ina-assist pa natin yan ng mga film strips. Okay? What else? Theories of learning and educational technology. We can examine various learning theories such as behaviorism, constructivism, and how educational technology aligns with this framework. Okay? Like, for example, yung behaviorist learning. Di ba yung mga learning theories natin that affects, that influence the behavior of our students? Di ba? So, we can analyze how behaviorist learning, for example, or theories can be applied in designing interactive educational games and simulations. Kung i-introduce mo ang mga educational games and simulations sa klase mo, mas madali magturo. Mas madaling i-change yung behavior ng mga bata. Di ba? What else? Yung connectivism theory, for example, the use of social media and online networks para sa professional development ng teachers or personalized learning ng mga estudyante. So, you can use the different theories of learning sa ating educational technology. Yung modern. Diba? What else? Digital citizenship and online safety education. Dito naman, syempre, we need to address responsible online behavior and methods to protect students from cyber threat. Totoo nga na nasa age of ano na tayo, digital. Nasa age of Internet of Things, automation tayo. But of course, we need to protect our students from cyber threat. Diba? So, dapat ang teaching natin should focus about digital citizenship, online etiquette, diba? And staying safe on the internet. Kaya minsan, dito sa UAE, diba, bawal gumamit ng cellphones during class hours. Kaya hindi ko alam bakit sa Philippines may mga dapat pinagbabawal din sa Pilipinas para hindi ka ma-videohan. Minsan kasi may binibidyohan ang mga teacher para nagtuturo, tapos pinupost. Diba? Pangpangit naman nung ganon. So, kailangan din ng online safety education for our students. Meaning, we need to develop a curriculum that includes lesson on online privacy, cyberbullying awareness, okay? Strategies for safe online communication. So, ang tawag lahat yan ay digital citizenship. Okay? I-discuss din natin ang importance ng what we call this importance of teaching students about yung mga scams, to identify and avoid scams, online scamming, phishing, fraudulent websites. Minsan tayo nga na teacher na i-scam, di ba? So, we need to teach our students digital citizenship and online safety education. Okay? Para hindi lang basta kung ano-ano lang ang... Kasi, di ba, we cannot monitor always naman ang mga estudyante natin, but of course, somehow, we need to discuss with them online etiquette, okay? And staying safe on the internet. Yung pagpo-post nila doon ng mga katawan nila, di ba? Ang dami-dami nga doon sa TikTok na puro hubad na nakatopless, na sumasayaw-sayaw. Tapos maraming cases, maraming issues na nare-rape, nababastos. Siyempre, once you post yourself, in-upload mo yung video mo doon, ibig sabihin, you are giving yourself the chance or the freedom na mabash ka, i-appreciate ka, i-bully ka, eh huwag kang mag-iyak-iyak na may dabash ka. Kasi nga, pinost mo yung sarili mo dun di ba? Ibig sabihin, when you post yourself online, dapat tanggapin mo rin yung mga consequences or yung output. Kung i-appreciate ka, the better. Pero syempre, hindi naman lahat mapiplease mo, di ba? Pwede namang merong mag-bash sa'yo, may magagalit sa'yo, may bambubuli sa'yo. Baka gagamitin pa yung video mo, gagamitin pa yung picture mo, lahat. Okay? So, online safety education. Aside from digital literacy, dapat din nating ituro about digital literacy and information literacy. Okay? Meaning, we need to examine the skills required for students to navigate and critically evaluate online information. Okay, this one covers the development of digital literacy, searching, evaluating, and using information from online sources responsibly. Diba? Para yung authentic, yung genuine na website, na sources ang natin sa mga bata. We need to teach them to be critically and responsibly search or navigate information on the internet. Okay? Like, sa lesson natin, we need to include effective internet research techniques. We should teach our students the importance of how to identify fake news and misinformation in the era of social media. Kasi hindi lahat ng nakapost online ay tama. At saka totoo. Okay? So we need to create lesson to explore strategies for promoting media literacy, understanding media bias in online content. Okay? So that's digital literacy and information literacy. What else? Pedagogy and technology integration. So pedagogy means we need to examine how technology complements teaching methods and enhances student learning. Yung strategy na gagamitin mo naman sa pagtuturo using technology. So you need to explore how teachers can navigate technology effectively to support various instructional approaches. Okay? Example, and analyzing how interactive whiteboards and multimedia presentation will enhance the visual and auditory learning experiences during lecture. Diba? Okay? What else? Yung paggamit mo ng mga applications, educational apps, paggamit mo ng games, para yung engagement or participation ng mga estudyante mo, especially in problem-solving activities, will foster critical thinking skills. Okay? What else? When you use, for example, online quizzes, di ba? Like yung Google Form, yung pinapasagot ko sa inyong practice test. That's part of pedagogy. So, I integrated online practice test para makuha nyo ang instant feedback. And this will serve as to facilitate formative assessment. And you will be able to identify learning gaps. Like, eto, mali ako dito. Agad-agad. Instant feedback. Okay? Kasi syempre, para matulungan din yung teacher. Kaysa mag-check si teacher naman ng isa-isang papel, kung let's say 50 ang estudyante mo, why not create online quizzes? Diba? Para instant feedback nandun na din. Paano papahirapan ang sarili mo, di ba? What else? Blended learning models. Understanding the combination of face-to-face and online instruction. Okay? Like yung mga station rotation model where learners move between stations online stations to engage in various learning tasks based on their needs. Okay? Like for example, pwede mo rin i-apply yung flipped classroom model. Pag sinabi natin flipped classroom kasi, yung mga estudyante mo, you will ask them, okay, class, when you go home or as assignment, panoorin nyo itong video na ito. Okay? Para sa discussion natin bukas. Ayun. Okay? So, before attending the in-person classes then, for deeper discussion and activities. That is what we call as flipped classroom. Okay? Yung binibigyan mo na kaagad muna sila ng assignment para lang mas maganda. Diba? Usually naman sinasabi ng mga teacher, okay, class, for tomorrow, make an advanced reading about, make a research about, or watch these YouTube videos about, para mas maganda ang discussion natin bukas. Okay? That's an example of a flipped classroom. What else? Gamification in education. Games. Explore the use of games, game elements to engage students in learning. Okay? But of course, you need to check the application of gamification principles to increase student motivation and participation in educational settings. Like yung integration of yung leaderboard system in learning platforms to encourage healthy competition among students. Okay? Like ano pa, mag-design ka or mag-research ka ng mga games na merong educational quest and challenges that align with your lesson. And this will promote active learning. Okay? Di ba may mga games na tayo na, for example, may mga badges, okay? May mga rewards to recognize student achievement in various learning activities. Maraming ganong learning apps or games na kailangan nilang i-proceed yan hanggang makapunta sa dulo, sa finish line. And then sa finish line, meron ka ng mga rewards doon. Just to recognize student achievement. Matutuwa yung mga bata. So, they are playing while learning. Learning while playing. Diba? What else? Mobile learning or M-learning discusses the utilization of mobile devices for educational purposes. Kasi ang mga estudyante natin ngayon, inseparable nila mobile. Have you seen a student na wala pang mobile? I mean, dito sa international setup. Pero syempre sa Philippines, hindi applicable ito. Kasi marami din mga estudyante na wala namang mobile. Okay? And meaning, you need to explore how mobile learning can support the student anytime, anywhere, where learning experiences through smartphones and tablets. Kasi nga, yun yung generation ng mga bata ngayon. Since inseparable nila ang mga mobile phones, make use of the mobile phone para matuto sila. Okay? Paano? Yan. You research and evaluate the use of yung mga educational applications that I am mentioning kanina that will allow students to practice language skills, yung mga vocabulary building, language translation, yung tamang pronunciation ng word. Ang dami yan, nakukuha yan sa mga apps, sa mga learning apps. Okay? That they can download sa mobile phone. Diba? So, you can also examine the benefits of mobile learning for, let's say, field trip, where students can access yung mga real-time information or any multimedia content related to their surroundings. Okay? What else? Yung mga, doon nila i-check yung mga quizzes nila, mobile polling system. Just, makakatulong din lahat yun to gauge understanding. Kasi nga, the students will receive instant or immediate feedback. Since meron naman na nga silang mobile, make use of the mobile phone. Virtual reality and augmented realities. Ito yung immersive technology. explores how VR and AR can create engaging and immersive learning experiences across various subjects. Have you tried using virtual reality? I am sure naman, oo, di ba? Yung mga virtual, kahit yung mga VR simulations lang in science education, just to explore yung mga complex concepts, like, yung kahit yung mga, let's say for example, yung molecular structures, yung blood circulation, makikita mo na kung paano mag-circulate talaga. Okay? Or yung mga astronomical phenomena, yung let's say parang nasa sa space ka na, pwede ka na, feeling mo na nasa space, observing the planets, observing the stars, diba? Those are virtual realities. You can also integrate AR, augmented reality, sa history lesson. Wherein yung mga estudyante, you are allowing your students to interact with historical artifacts. They can virtually visit historical sites. Diba? Na kahit nakaupo lang sila using the internet, the computer, parang nag-visit na sila sa mga historical sites. Yun siya sabi natin na virtual reality or augmented realities. Okay? Educational robotics and coding. It analyzes the benefits of teaching, coding, and robotics in schools. Especially kung magtuturo ka dito sa abroad ng mga robotic kits na sila. Okay? The integration of robotics and coding education to foster creativity, problem solving, and computational thinking skills. High-tech ang mga pinag-aaralan ng mga bata ngayon, especially sa mga sciences. Meron silang mga robotic kits, coding platforms, programming, yan. May mga robotic competitions. Okay? Kasi this is the generation of digital learners, a digital age. Artificial intelligence. I assume lahat naman kayo nasubukan nyo nang gumamit ng AI. Naka-chat nyo na ba si ChatGPT? Diba? You need to explore AI applications in adaptive learning and personalized instruction. Kasi nandito na ang AI we need to embrace. Di natin pwedeng baliwalain. Kasi ito yung latest innovation. Okay? We need to discuss how AI-powered tools and algorithms can provide personalized learning experiences and support educators and data analysis. Diba, ang bilis, in just 5 seconds, 10 seconds, bibigyan ka na agad ng sagot ni AI. So, paano na lang kung nagpa-assignment ka sa mga bata pag nagturo ka na? Isang pindot lang nila kay ChatGPT, andun na kaagad yung sagot. So, hindi na sila nag-isip. Diba? Si AI na ang naggumawa ng assignment nila. Ang bilis. So, we need to evaluate the use of AI-based adaptive learning platforms. Check natin yung mga content, yung difficulty levels to each student. Okay? Assessment tools through AI. Yung mga AI-powered chatbots, yung ChatGPT, kasi they provide instant support and answers sa mga queries ng estudyante natin outside of the regular classroom. Diba? So, try nyo, ChatGPT. Ibibigay niya lahat ng sagot. Okay? What else? Online assessment and evaluations. Diba? Meron na rin tayong evaluating student progress in virtual classrooms. Diba? Yung mga online quizzes, exams, yung performance task during pandemic, di ba? Sumasayaw-sayaw sila, dito pinapanood mo dito sa Zoom, or kung hindi naman, pinapa-record mo para lang mag-grade mo sila. makikita mo silang sumasayaw-sayaw sa bahay, sa corner ng bahay, di ba? Kung saan sila pupwesto para lang mabigyan mo sila ng grade. Performance task nila doon. Kakatuwa nga noon nung pandemic, di ba? Instead na makikita mo sila personally to perform, nire-record na lang nila and then sinisend sa teacher. Okay? So, online assessment and evaluation. Data privacy and educational technology. So, it examines privacy concerns related to educational data collection, protecting student data and complying with data privacy regulations. Kasi minsan, may mga mga data breaches, diba? Especially when you store, transmit student information, minsan nakukuha yung mga information ng mga bata, profile ng mga bata, even your grades. Mahahack yung account mo, mga ganun, diba? So, we need to discuss also the role of yung mga schools in ensuring data protection and seeking consent from parents or legal guardians for data processing. Kasi nakakatakot din, 'di ba? Ang data kung naka-save sa Google Drive mo or dito sa email mo, especially yung mga information about grades ng mga bata or 'di ba? Yung mga personal profile nila, baka mamaya ma-hack din yung email mo. Okay? So, kailangan din i-discuss yung role ng mga schools in ensuring data protection, especially yung data ng mga estudyante. Okay? Yung mga estudyante natin. Social media education. Since nasa age of social media, tayo, mga estudyante, we need to analyze the use of social platforms for collaborative learning and professional development. It explores how educators can leverage social media to foster communication, collaboration, and networking opportunities. Okay? Like, for example, discuss the use of WhatsApp or Messenger chat, hashtag for subject-specific discussions. Sa Twitter, di ba, yung X, yung hashtag, makikita mo yung pag-hashtag kasi, yung subject specification nandun. Okay? Which will enable the teacher to share resources and insights. Okay? What else? Yung benefits of creating private Facebook groups for class communication. Meron ka ring group ng mga parents para mas madali mong makakontakt, para mas ma-explore mo yung parent-teacher engagement. So, mas pinadali with the use of social media. But of course, we need to have this, explore social media education. Evaluate the use of social media platforms like LinkedIn, di ba? Edmudo for professional development and ongoing learning. Madami, okay, na pwedeng gamitin ang social media. Ano pa? Cloud computing. Okay? When you say cloud computing, ito yung mga data storage, collaborative learning, access to educational resources. Like sa, ano ba yung mga cloud-based document na sinasabi? Yung mga Google Workspace, di ba? What else? Yung cloud-based learning, let's say, managing assignments, grading, communication in virtual classrooms. Sa Google Drive. Okay? Yung data storage kasi ito. What else? Digital storytelling in the classroom. It fosters creativity. Okay? Na instead na ikaw yung mag-storytelling, why not make use of the digital? Design a digital storytelling project for teacher. let's say, character development in literature. Tapos yung mga estudyante, they will create multimedia stories for fictional characters din. Okay? Educational data analytics. Yung pag-analyze din ng mga data. Okay? Understanding student performance, learning trends, strategies, teacher professional development through technology. O, di ba? Ang dali na lang ngayon na maka-access. Ang daming online na webinars. Mag-member ka sa OECD, nandun yung mga teaching strategies, latest innovations in teaching na halos every week nagpapa-webinar sila that you can easily attend. Mag-register ka lang attend. Nung pandemic, paramihan yung mga teachers yan na mag-attend ng mga webinars kasi nagbibigay din sila ng mga certificate, yung mga universities. Okay? Those are teacher professional development. You need to review online courses and platforms that supports continuous teacher learning. Okay? Pinaka-accessible ngayon ang webinars na sinasabi. Okay? So, in that case, we need to evaluate the effectiveness of webinars in improving strategies, pedagogical knowledge, okay? Yung mga innovative teaching practices. Okay? Video-based coaching, peer observation. What else? Open educational resources. Ang dami nating open educational resources that we can freely access online. Okay? Pero may mga ano din kasi marami na rin kasing mga online na kailangan mong mag-subscribe, kailangan mong bayaran, 'di ba? Una, magbibigay lang muna sila ng mga samples, yung free. Pero may limitations. But if you want to explore more, papasubscribe sila. Okay? So, ito yung mga open educational resources as cost-effective and inclusive learning materials in educational setting. Yung mga electronic books, yung mga madadownload mong PDF, or mga materials na pwede mong gamitin. Okay? But of course, minsan may mga sites or sources na you are challenged of the copyright, diba? Licensing, yan. So, kasi syempre, we need to discuss that also, the importance of respecting the terms and conditions of open licenses. Kasi syempre, ginastusan din naman nila yung pag-create ng website na yun. So, minsan nag-aano sila ng mga copyright na kailangan mo mag-ask ng permission sa kanila if you want to get the resources, if you want to use their the material, di ba? May mga copyright, yung mga license kasi nila. Otherwise, di mag-subscribe ka sa kanila, maging member ka. May binabayaran ka every month. Open educational resources. Okay? Online safety. Discuss natin to kanina. Importance of teaching students about internet safety. Kailangan natin ito laging dinidiscuss kasi puro na tayo online ngayon. So we need to focus on the critical need for educating students about online safety, cybersecurity, digital ethics. So, syempre, we need also to analyze the role of the parents. Hindi lang yung role ng teachers in modeling and reinforcing online safety practices at home and in classroom or even outside or in the community. What else? We need to develop a curriculum, include natin sa pagtuturo natin for educating young learners about online privacy. Yung privacy mo. What else? Password, security, and social media practices. So dapat din we need to promote yung responsible online behavior. Kasi 'di ba, respect begets respect. So, dapat respectful online communication din. Paano ka naman respetuhin kung tawag doon, hindi ka naman karespeto sa mga pinupost mo online. Diba? What else? Technology for special education. Since nasa inclusive education tayo, inclusion, we need to review also assistive technologies that cater to diverse learners to support yung mga students with disabilities and diverse learning needs. Like, yung mga madami na ding online yung mga text-to-speech software para sa mga estudyante na may difficulty sa pagbabasa, sa reading, or may mga visual impairment. Pwede nating introduce yung text-to-speech software. Okay? What else? Yung mga non-verbal assistive communication devices. Yan, mga educational games na pwede ring i-apply, mga interactive activities tailored to individual learning styles and disabilities. And also those with learning disabilities na baka pwede nilang gamitin din. Okay? What else? Technology and parental involvement. We need to examine how educational technology bridges the gap between parents and teachers. Yung to facilitate communication and collaboration between parents, teachers, and schools. Diba, meron tayong school communication, gagawa tayo ng portal sa website to provide parents with real-time updates, yung na-update ng mga magulang. Diba? Meron tayong mga ganun, yung mga school communication applications, na pwede nilang i-access, itatype lang nila yung student ID, yung anak nila, ID number, makikita na nila yung mga grades ng mga anak nila. So that is, for example, portal, for example. Okay? Digital portfolio. Pag in-open nila yung website, makita nila yung mga activities ng mga bata. Okay? Pwede rin, yung virtual parent-teacher conference. Magpa-zoom ka sa parents para kamustahin sila. Okay? What else? Online tutoring and remote learning. Differentiated instruction. Lahat na to. Sa science education, madami sa science pwedeng i-apply or gamitin. Diba? Yung mga simulation, data collection, okay? Sa mathematics naman, mga softwares, educational math applications, graphing software na pwede nating introduce. Sa language art education, mga digital storytelling, diba? Basta madami mga educational applications, yung grammar, practicing vocabulary, language fluency, yung mga speech-to-text software. Ang dali na ngayon through AI. Pwede mo nga ngayong sabihan mo si AI na create a picture of me in Paris, in the Eiffel Tower. Pagbigay mo lang yung picture mo. Gagawin ka na ng picture na nandun ka sa Eiffel Tower. Diba? Daming mga AI sites or AI references. Sa social studies naman, mga interactive historical maps, timelines, online research, virtual realities. Lahat ng subjects, ang dami-daming pwedeng i-gamitin. Okay? And that, when it comes to integrating technology. Okay? Integrating technology in the classroom. So, any questions? Marami pa tayo doon. So, basa-basahin nyo lang like school-home communication, teacher evaluation, collaboration, assessment of teachers. Okay, do you have
Thank you so much for watching. Before leaving, please do click the like, subscribe and get notified button.